Hi there, my name is Jodie Douglas and I'm from Mad About Life. Welcome to your financial awareness and education. Okay, let's talk about your protection. This is your financial risk plan, and I believe one of the most important components of every financial plan is making sure that you're adequately protected in the event that something goes wrong in terms of sickness, injury, or if you're not here anymore. Up on the screen there, we have a whole list of different insurance products, everything from life insurance to income protection, to right down the bottom, which is one of the most important ones, is your self-insurance. So it's not all about a product. You can put in place a risk strategy to suit you based on your personal circumstances. So things like sick leave or annual leave or savings in the bank should all be factored into what level of protection you need. Okay, let's have a little look at what exactly a risk strategy or your risk plan is. So say for example, we have a family, a mum, a dad, a son, a daughter, and a cat and a dog. Don't ask me which one of those is the cat and which one is the dog. That's going to be your test for this afternoon. I'm still yet to work that out. So, stormy clouds. Let's think about a short-term injury or sickness. That is a broken leg and broken arm, something short term that's going to keep you off work and cause a financial loss. You want to know that you've got a bit of a protection strategy in place in the event of that happening. What about the long-term injuries or sicknesses? So that's the big things like heart attack, cancer, stroke, a spinal injury, the things that will cost a lot because you may not be able to work ever again, and also in terms of medical expenses. Then of course, if you're not here anymore, if you pass away, it's going to happen to all of us. We just hope it's later rather than sooner. But if someone in this family group did pass away, that would cause a financial effect. And we want to know that you've got things in place to prevent that financial stress. So let's look at how we can protect you from those things. Life cover. Life cover is a lump sum paid out in the event that you pass away. It can be in super or outside super, and there's things that we do to determine how to structure it for you. Income protection, that is to cover your income up to a maximum of 75% of your gross income, including super, after a waiting period. So you might have a waiting period of 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 weeks, depending on what suits you. And then of course a benefit period, and that could be right up till age 70, depending on your circumstances. It's there to help you cover bills while you're sick or injured and can't work. Total permanent disability. This one here is the hardest one to claim on. Reason being is 2 doctors have to sign off that you're never ever going back to the work that you're suitably trained and educated for. Now there's lots of little intricacies and policy definitions that we need to look at based on your circumstances, but the idea of this cover is to provide a financial benefit if you could never work again due to sickness or injury. Trauma insurance. Now this one is actually the one that pays the most claims, believe it or not. And most people have never heard of it. And that's because it can't be inside super. It has to be outside and paid for by your own cash flow. It's also not tax deductible, and it can be quite expensive because it has a high claims rate. But where it helps is for the big things. So think of a critical illness like a heart attack diagnosis, a cancer diagnosis, a stroke, anything that's going to be pretty serious. You're going to need a lot of medical treatment, possibly surgeries, be off work probably for quite some time, and it's going to cost a lot. Trauma insurance is there to help you get through that, cover medical expenses, loss of income, having your partner off work with you. It's really giving you the ultimate choice in the event that you suffer something critical. This one here will pay out 14 days after you're diagnosed. So it's not based on whether you can work or not. It's actually based on if you're diagnosed with something serious. And there's a whole list of events, depending on the policy, up to 50 different conditions, including things like motor neurone disease, MS, all of those sorts of things. Really important cover and very valuable, especially if those things happen. Then we have the self-insurance strategies. And as I said before, this is about having a look at your unique circumstances and putting together a plan that suits you and your position. So that is having in place things like your sick leave, your annual leave, things like that, where you can actually, for example, income protection, you can choose the waiting period based on how much sick leave you have that you could use first. And using self-insurance, things that you've already got in place, allows you to then make the premium of the policy that you've got a lot more affordable because you can adjust those things. So it's really important to add those into your risk plan. As I say to all of my clients, the goal is, usually when you first come to us, probably the time that you might have the most insurance, depending on your circumstances. And the goal is that each year, as your debts decrease, your kids grow, your wealth grows, so your savings and things like that, your emergency buffers, that's where your need for insurance should be coming down over time. So that's how you can make sure that you're affording it long term. So as you can see, we're getting a bit of an umbrella here, and the idea is once you have all of these things in place, you then have adequate protection. It's not about just having life insurance or just having some income protection or trauma. It's about making sure that you've got all of those stormy clouds covered. So you can see, say for example, you just had life insurance, that's only going to look after you in the event of death. Short-term injuries and long-term injuries, you have a huge exposure. So that's why it's important to have a full scope of cover based on your circumstances. The idea then, and I love PowerPoint, the sun comes out, all those stormy clouds go away, and you can go out there and be mad about life. The idea about having adequate protection in place and going through a strategic plan to put it in place is so that you don't have to worry about it again. You can have those things in place, you can sleep at night, you can have the peace of mind knowing you're covered. You can go out there and do fun things. I ride motorcycles. I know I'm covered and I've got the peace of mind because I've got those things in place. Okay, so I hope that has educated you around your risk protection. Most important thing is it's different for everybody. Everybody has unique circumstances and needs different levels of cover, different types of cover. It's structured differently depending on what you do for work, what illnesses you've had in the past, and that's where you need a professional to help you to navigate that and put that plan in place. Okay, so seek advice. Advisors are great, and this is exactly what we do. We help you with these things, make it easy, and so that you know that you've got everything covered. Okay, have a wonderful day.